goodness. Happy holidays, everybody. We've got our happy holiday sign going on. This is Linda, and that is over there, Carl. And guess what today is? It's Friday, December 17th, and it is... So hello, happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah, all that great stuff going on. We are festive here. As you can see, we've got the lights going, the Christmas tree bobules going. And today, like I said, is Friday, December 17th. It's episode number 47 of the Fab Friday program. We have a little tutorial for you today about this Christmas tree pattern that you see behind me. This is my finished version, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But if you like the pattern, it's still available up on the Colourwerx website. We're going to leave it there for a couple more weeks. It's a limited edition PDF that you can purchase, and you can make this in time for Christmas. It really is super, super simple. But my tutorial today is going to talk to you about using decorative stitches. There's a little bit of a applique tutorial in there. If you've never done zigzag applique stitching, that'll help you get started, as well as how I actually put the pocket down there to hold Christmas cards. So that is something as an option there. But I want to get right to it and see who's checking in from where. I see Pat Stack is with us from Pinehurst, and she says it is cool but sunny. Pinehurst, I remember those were beautiful mornings in the winter. They're very crisp, and we've been having some here in the desert, I might add, which is, I think we went down, what, Carl, to like 37 degrees last night. It was chilly for us in the desert after coming off, what, 125 degrees in the summer. So it's a beautiful day here at the Oasis. Who else? Oh, Suzanne is checking in. Do you have a message, don't you?
I do, Suzanne.
Carl has a message for you about your package.
Your package. We have tracked it to France. And the latest update this morning was they attempted a delivery, but were unsuccessful. So your package is in France. I'm going to email you after this broadcast your tracking number if you don't have it, and see if you can't resolve why they can't deliver it to you. Anyway, happy holidays.
Goodness. It's there. And we wanted, and on that note, I want to thank everybody for coming out for our Super D-Stash sale that we had over Black Friday, the Thanksgiving weekend, and also thank you all for purchasing some of our beautiful samples. I hope they go to loving homes. I hope you enjoy them, and I hope they bring you total comfort and warmth and good stuff this next year to whoever they go to. But thank you so much for your support on the Black Friday, or as we like to call it, the Bright Friday sales that we had. Who else is checking in? Oh, Leda, good morning. Work is crazy today.
She's going to watch
have a Merry holiday.
She just checked in and checked out.
Oh, you checked in and checked out. Well, you have a Merry holiday too. And Barbara is checking in. Let's see, Barbara, good morning to you. And yes, from Granada Hills. I bet it's chilly over there. And our good friend Kim, hello, good morning. And Kay from our fellow desert residents here. Kay is over in the same town we are, Palm Desert here. And Suzanne, good morning from Vista. I bet it's beautiful there. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for checking in. And what else do we need to get to? Let's just check in with the Santa Cam. The golf course is actually beautiful today. This is the 15th hole, of course, of the, and it's actually the Santa Cam. It's the 15th hole of the Oasis Country Club. Lots of golfers in town. Lots of activity on the golf course, very busy.
But the sun isn't helping us this morning. We're in shadow.
Well,
with the light.
It's all right. It looks great, and we have our happy holidays going on there. So yeah, the town is very busy. This is in this area, Palm Desert, Palm Springs. This is known as the season, and the season starts around about the end of October and goes all the way through probably around right after Easter. So the town gets very busy, very crowded. And it's beautiful weather. I mean, we're going up into maybe the low 80s, high 70s during the day, and then down to 30-something at night. And it's just gorgeous. So it's
a little housekeeping here.
What?
Suzanne, I got your message.
Should I bring the mic towards you? Yes. Suzanne says she didn't quite hear Carl about her package arriving in France, of all things. Yes, we try to diligently track all of our packages, so you know. Anyway, let's talk about some news here. If you're interested in taking a class, I just need to let you know I am teaching a virtual class that is open to everybody in January. That would be January 2022 coming up. And it's for Mancuso, which do a wonderful job with the virtual shows. So this is something you can take in your jammies. You can be at home. You can have all your accoutrements, your sewing stuff around you. And it is for the virtual schoolhouse coming up with Mancuso's virtual schoolhouse quilt fest, basically. It's January 26th through 29th. I'm not the only teacher. Of course, there are many more wonderful teachers teaching at this event. I'm going to be teaching my No Fear of Curves Cosmos workshop there January 28th. So if you want to come join me in a class, head over to quiltfest.com. The registration is going on right now. You can also register for all these other classes going on with wonderful, wonderful teachers. Yes, Carl, what?
Nothing.
Oh, I thought Carl was signaling that we were having some
no,
issue going on.
I'm just having a technical issue.
What's the technical issue?
I skipped a page.
Oh, you skipped. Oh, what page?
No, I'm good.
Oh, all right.
You're on the road to California right
yes,
now.
I was going to say there's another note for you. Road to California is going on. So if you're in Southern California or visiting, we are going to have a booth there. Our booth is 518. We'll be vending from January 19th through the 22nd. And I will also be seeing some of you guys in class on January 18th, which is sold out at this point. So I thank you so much for that. Anybody else checking in before we get to the tutorial?
Here's a quick one from Jeannie.
Janine.
Yes, Janie. Her husband, she's waiting with her husband for a procedure.
Oh my goodness. I
hope
everything, I remember. Yeah. Yes.
And
Nancy, I love the quilt sample I purchased. Thank you, Nancy. And we love hearing that. So I hope it brings you lots of warm to heart feelings and warmth and coziness throughout the winter season here. So hello, everybody. Let's see what else I've got to talk. Oh, one other housekeeping note before we get to the tutorial. The Tutti Frutti bundle is available. Now, this is kind of a fun little bundle of 5 Kona cotton colors that we put together. We recently got the bolts in, and this is kind of reminiscent of the Linderella colorway. So these were the colors that I used quite a lot when I designed patterns for Linderella way back when. And we thought it would be fun to bring in what we call now the Tutti Frutti colors. It's a wonderful little gift if you need a new gift or something like that for the holidays, or just want to stack up your stash, meaning stock it up and add these colors to your stash. There's 5 different Kona cotton colors in there, and they're beautifully bright and happy, and they go with our Colourwerx fabrics, which I think we have an update on. Is that what?
Well, here's the update.
I'm moving towards Carl so you can hear him.
Because I didn't put my mic on today. Look, they're here.
They're here.
They're in the port of LA.
Yes.
Either in a warehouse or in a container on the street.
Well, so they're in California.
Yes, even though the port was open 24 hours as per instructions from the government.
Well, we're hearing that they're here. So in a nutshell, they're here in California, but they're waiting for a truck driver to be able to get into the port to actually get them out of wherever they are in the port.
Because the port's open 24 hours, but the warehousing is not. They're only open their regular hours. So if the trucks don't get there in time, they can't pick up.
That's right.
The latest.
So that's the latest on Colourwerx fabrics. They are here. They are coming in, and I hope that they will be coming in soon. So everybody, welcome in. One last piece of housekeeping that we haven't done, which is to give away our $10 Colourwerx gift card for the month, because of course we do this on every show. So last month when we were on the air, which was in November, right before Thanksgiving, the question was, what is your favorite Thanksgiving dish? And the random thingamajizer winner is... Oh my goodness, Susan Butler, congratulations. I think she said sweet potato casserole, and I was reading through everybody's responses, and of course, I love sweet potato casserole. I was like, yes. Okay. You guys had some great responses for your favorite Thanksgiving dish, by the way. So, shall we get on to our tutorial? So, as you know, I actually made a new version of our Oh Christmas Tree pattern. This is something that we designed oh my God, how long ago, Carl? Probably 15 years ago.
Maybe. Yeah.
And
Or
we put it
magazines,
out as a pattern after it was in a magazine long ago. And then we decided to re-release it as a limited edition PDF now for you guys for Christmas. So I'm going to run the tutorial, and in this tutorial, you're going to see kind of my process for how I put together this version that you see behind me. And we'll just go ahead and roll it first. So this is Donna's version of our Oh Christmas Tree quilt, and she inspired me to make a new sample of the Oh Christmas Tree pattern. This is the original quilt that I made several years ago. We still have the pattern available. It's up on our website at Colourwerx.com as a limited edition PDF. And I had been sent a couple weeks ago a beautiful collection from Wyndham Fabrics called Dewdrop, which is now in shops. And I knew that this would be the perfect fabric to use for my new sample of the Oh Christmas Tree quilt. And so I set aside what I thought were the best colors in the Fat Quarter bundle, and I started to create my background for the Christmas tree. I cut out all the squares and units I needed according to the pattern, and then stitched them all together. I then spray fused that quilt top to some batting, and then spray fused that to some backing fabric, and then drew diagonal lines on going both directions about 1.5 inches apart as my machine quilting lines. And I often like to machine quilt the quilt top and the backing together with batting prior to adding my applique shapes. I find that this is much easier to do, and then I'll put my applique shapes right on top of this backing fabric or background fabric once it's complete. So one of the other things I did to my Christmas tree wall hanging is I added a little piece here at the bottom that you can see. And I did that before I started machine quilting the background. So this is a piece of fabric that will be the back of a pocket I'm going to put on that will hold Christmas cards. And so this piece I added on before I started machine quilting, in case you want to do it, is the width of my Christmas tree wall hanging, which is 16.5 inches wide by about 6.5 inches tall. I also machine quilted up a little pocket front from it. So this is 2 pieces exactly the same size. One is the inside of the pocket, here the purple. The dark blue is going to be the outside of the pocket. And when I get done appliquing on or applique stitching this little mistletoe design I just thought would be cute, I will cut the pocket down to the same size here as the width of my wall hanging, which is 16.5 inches, and then baste it onto the bottom here so that it can hold Christmas cards or other little things while this is hanging on the wall. And again, I would just cut and trim everybody down to the same width and then baste it onto the bottom here of my wall hanging, and then I'll just bind it into place when I'm done. And you can see then it creates just a little, once it gets trimmed off at the top and things like that, it'll just create like a little pocket to hold Christmas cards. So then I set out to cut out all my stars using Heat and Bond Light, which is my favorite fusible web. I got all the stars cut out, and then with Carl's help, we used the silhouette to cut out some very perfect circles downstairs. And then it was a dilemma of, do I want traditional or rainbow? Traditional or rainbow? I settled on rainbow with all of your guys' help, and then I was ready to start appliquing. So I thought, even though I'm going to do a decorative stitch on my tree, I thought I would give you just a couple tips if you're doing a zigzag stitch. I'm using stitch number 2 on my Bernina, and you can see that I have the stitch width set about 3.6. My stitch length is closer together at about 0.90. You'll need to adjust your stitch length and width accordingly, but I wanted to give you some tips and tricks about how to start and stop your applique, as well as going around these points. So the first thing that I always do is I drop my needle down on a straightaway right on the edge of the applique, right here. And I'm just going to take one stitch in place, and what this does is it brings up my bobbin thread to the top. And I do this every single time, no matter what stitch I'm using for my applique, because I don't want any thread nests below my applique here. And I've set up just kind of a sample star here. This is just a tester for me, and also to show you how I'm doing this. I've got my bobbin thread up on the top now, along with my top gold thread that I'm going to use on top for the applique stitch around the star, and I'm going to drop my needle back down into the background fabric right on the edge of the applique there, where I brought the bobbin thread up. Now I'm going to use on my Bernina the secure stitch function to secure this stitch, which means it'll take probably 1 or 2, 3 stitches in place and then start to zig and zag. If you don't have a secure stitch function on your machine, just you can either reduce your stitch length down to 0 and let the stitch or the machine take a couple stitches in place, or you can just simply hold these threads off to the side and start stitching, and then you'll have to bring them to the back of your applique sandwich and tie a knot. So because I have secure stitch function, I'm going to take 1 or 2, 3 stitches place. There it is. Now it's going to start to zig and zag. Can you see that? It's zigging, it's zagging, back, right to left, right to left. And I'm just keeping my eye on the edge of the applique. So when this goes back and forth, I want the needle to fall just to the outside edge of the applique right here. And that's what I'm looking at. I'm making sure that it's zigging onto the applique and zagging, if I stop, onto the outside edge. As I approach this point, I'm going to do what I call a lazy man's turn on the point. I'm just going to stitch all the way out to the edge of the point right there. I'm going to turn my quilt sandwich with the needle still down in the sandwich, perpendicular to the stitches right there. That would be like a 90-degree angle. I'll take 1 full stitch in place. That means a full stitch is a zag over to the left and a zig over to the right. Now I turn my whole sandwich again 90 degrees, and I'll just start continuing up this side. That's my lazy man kind of way of doing a point. As you can see, it envelops the point of the fabric. I mean, it covers the point of the fabric nicely, and I don't have to worry about dialing down or dialing back up the stitch length, which is sometimes very difficult if you are not very coordinated about it, which I'm not. Now, the other thing I want to show you too is how to go around this inside point here of the applique, because this is always a dilemma for people. When I do this, think about how a marching band takes a corner when it's doing a parade, a full marching band. The guy who's at the corner always stays still, and the rest of the band kind of rotates around that one guy. So watch what happens. I'm going to stitch right up into the corner of here, this inner corner. Because this is an inner corner, I'm going to stop and pivot on the inside edge of the star. So there, I took 1 stitch onto the inside edge of the star and I pivot. And the idea here is to always hit the same place in that corner, that if you can, as you turn the corner. So again, think about the marching band turning a corner. I stop and pivot on the inside edge, I take 1 stitch. I stop and pivot on the inside edge and I take another stitch. And each time I'm taking that stitch, I'm hoping that when it comes to the outside edge of the star, that it's hitting exactly the same place every time. Here I go. I'm going to go back up into this point now, stitching right over the point, turn 90 degrees, 1 full stitch, perpendicular, come back down the next side. Inside point, stop and pivot on the inside edge. If you had an outside edge, like a circle, you would stop and pivot on the outside. So now as I approach the end here, I'm just going to try to meet exactly that stitch where it started. There might be 1 overlap. And again, because I have a secure stitch function on my Bernina, I'm going to use it when I cut my threads here. So this will knot on the back and then also cut the threads. And that's as easy as it gets. If you don't have the automatic thread cutter on your machine, just go ahead and leave a long thread tail and bring everything to the back and tie a knot. So on my Christmas tree, I chose to do a decorative stitch, and I chose one of my favorite decorative stitches from my Bernina, which is stitch number 603, because I wanted the stars to look a little bit like they were sparkling. And so I have my Bernina 750 set for stitch number 603 again. The stitch width is 9.0. The stitch length is about 4.0. And so sometimes when you use a decorative stitch, you just have to experiment with the stitch width and length to see what works out for you best. Now to start this star, I'm going to do it in a very similar fashion, to how I started the zigzag. I'm just going to lower my needle down on the edge of the star shape and take one stitch or bring the needle back up. And I'm going to then bring the bobbin thread up. And my bobbin thread is a dark gray, and you can see it right there coming up. And I want to make sure that I bring the bobbin thread up to the top again, just like I do with my zigzag, to ensure that I won't get any thread tails or nastiness happening in the back on the wrong side. So I lower my needle down back into the same position, and the way this stitch works, again, stitch number 603, which is a decorative stitch on the Bernina, is it glides right down the center of the presser foot. So it goes to the left equally and it goes to the right equally. So unlike the zigzag where I kind of was off center, I'm going to keep directly in center, my foot in center between the edge of the star and the edge of the background fabric. And you can see it just goes back and forth and back and forth. And the thing about decorative stitches is you do have to kind of test them to see how they react. Now, as I come down to the point here of the star, I'm going to just simply stitch right over it. And again, because this is a decorative stitch and I'm not really sure how it's going to react, I'm just going to kind of wing it here at the point and hope that it kind of looks good. And you just keep going on like that, again with your decorative stitch. It's a little bit less exact than your zigzag, which makes it more fun. So I'm going to get ready to do a decorative stitch around these circles, the pink circles of my Christmas tree. I'm using a different stitch now. It's Bernina stitch number 465. I have my machine, after some experimentation, set at 6.0 width and 16.9 length for the stitch width and length. And again, you'll have to do some experimentation on your own just to see. I'm using my Aurifil 40 weight thread. Again, I'm going to do the exact same thing that I usually do, which is I'm going to drop my needle down right on the edge of the circle here and take one stitch in place and bring that bobbin thread up to the top. That's to avoid any thread nest in the back. And you can see I just pulled it with my tweezers. I'm going to hold on to these and I'm going to do a secure stitch with my Bernina. So that is the little knot that usually is on your machine, or sometimes it's a little circle within a circle, and it will take 3 stitches in place to secure this thread. Now this stitch runs right down the center to the right and left of the edge of the circle. So the key to doing this after some practice is just to keep your fabric moving in a circular or turning fashion as the stitch starts to stitch out. Now, if you have to stop, it's always good to stop at the end of the cycle of the stitch. Each stitch has its own cycle from beginning to end. And so if you have to stop to kind of pivot your quilt sandwich, make sure you're stopping at the end of the cycle of the stitch versus in the middle. It makes for a cleaner look in case you need to adjust yourself. So you can see it's stitching out to right to left, and here comes the end of the cycle where it gets very tiny and goes right into the ditch there on the edge of the circle. So if I needed to stop, I would just stop and kind of pivot myself and then keep going. But I think I'm okay. This is a larger circle, so I think I'm okay to just keep pivoting my sandwich as it goes around. And while I was there, I applique stitched around the mistletoe of the pocket front. Once complete, I trimmed that down to size and added a piece of binding to the top, so it was already bound at the top. Then I attached it and basted it to the bottom part of the Christmas tree wall hanging. And then to finish the wall hanging completely, I just bound all the edges as I normally would bind a quilt. Oh, whew.
Are you worn out now?
Yeah, I'm worn out. I went back and forth in the sewing machine. No, we actually pre-taped that a little ahead of a time because it goes smoother and it's a much better tutorial. Then we don't have to avoid any mistakes. But yeah, so did you like that little music at the end? That was kind of my,
Downton
a
Abbey?
little Downton Abbey. It
Gosh.
sounded like a little Downton Abbey or Masterpiece Theater stuff going on that I found yesterday. But there it is. So if you still want that pattern, like I said, it is super easy to make. I mean, literally, you don't even have to do the piecing of the background if you want to. You could just use one piece of fabric, and you'd probably need about a half a yard total for the background there, maybe not even that, to do. And then you can just lay out your stars and your circles and have fun. You could also get some trim from Michael's or Hobby Lobby or anything like that and do like a little garland if you wanted to. I mean, or you could add like little clips. Sometimes I've seen little clothespin clips in the doll section, like the dollhouse section at Michael's. You could like glue those on and actually hang cards off the stars and things like that. Oh, here, wait, yeah, we're going to do that.
Yes.
Anyway, so let me know if you have any questions. Again, it's a great little project to try out decorative stitches on if you've always wanted to do that. It's a great little project to practice machine quilting on because you can see the background is not too large. So if you are working on your machine quilting and you want to work on maybe stippling or a new stitch or anything like that, that's a great project for it. So let me know if you have any questions on that. And again, the pattern is still up there. You can go ahead and share this with your friends or other quilting buddies and things like that. So
we have some comments.
Oh, comments.
Yes.
What?
Lena's back from a break.
Oh, hello, Lena. Lena comes to us on her lunch break, I believe, or breaks when she's at work.
And Pat says,
Pat's,
what a visual treat you are with all your decorations.
Well, she said Lindarella's was such a visual treat.
Well,
thank you, Pat. That was our shop in North Carolina that Pat is. Joy says, can't wait for Colourwerx. I know.
We can't either.
We can't either. It's been a long time. You know, it was supposed to be here in October, but like with everything, I mean, every business is going through this with supply chain issues. I'm just happy to hear that it's actually in the state of California at this point.
At the port.
So we know that it's coming sometime. And just keep your ears peeled to our Instagram, to our Facebook, or to our newsletter, and we'll be sure to announce it very loudly when it arrives here at the house. So Letitia says, good afternoon from North Carolina. Good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us. And who else? Kim says, love the new version of Christmas Tree. So colorful. Yes. Well, I think you guys, if you are on our Instagram or Facebook, you noticed that I posted a picture. I cut a version of the colorful stars, meaning rainbow, and then I cut a different version just using green stars, like a traditional Christmas tree. And actually, when I took a poll with you guys, it was even Steven for a while, and then all of a sudden the rainbow tree won out. So I decided, yeah, let's do a rainbow tree, because the first version was, you know, a traditional tree. So I thought, why not? Let's do a rainbow tree. And this is a beautiful fabric collection, by the way, from Wyndham Fabrics, which should be in shops right now. It's called Dewdrop, and it does have that little gold kind of metallic dot going through it. It's really, really pretty. It would make a beautiful carpenter star or other quilt too, not just Christmas.
Message from Joy.
Joy says, you are an excellent teacher. Thank you. Well, thank you, Joy. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And anybody else, Carl? Kim. Great, easy. Yes, thank you, Kim. Kim says, great, easy pattern. It is. Literally, you can make this in a weekend, I would say. And like I said, if you have a circle cutter at home, or if you have like a silhouette or any of the crickets or things like that, you don't have to do the exact circle shape, meaning you can come up with your own size of circles. That makes it go so much easier. When Carl sent those through our silhouette, and it cut the circles, then you don't have to worry about getting perfect circles. So,
quick question from Janet.
Yes, Janet, good morning. Are all three patterns behind you on your website? Well, yes and no. The Christmas tree one is Secret Santa, which is an old Lindarella pattern from long ago, I believe is sold out. And this one is not either. This is called Dancin' and Prancin' Reindeer, right behind my head here. This was on the cover of Quick Quilts long ago. So that one is actually, if I feel it, it's got Minky. So I made those that little reindeer with Minky long ago. That was a challenge from the editor at Quick Quilts. And I think she thought I was going to make a baby quilt. And I just started appliquing with the Minky. And there was fur flying everywhere. So.
And Nancy
says, I purchased a whole year of the magazine.
It was
published online because I really wanted this pattern. I had no idea it was yours. Well, thank you, Nancy. Yeah, you're talking about the Christmas tree pattern. That was in the Quilter's Home. Was it Quilter's Home? I think it's Quilter's Home. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nancy. Magazine long ago. I mean, we want to say 15 years ago or so.
But seasonally, over the years, we've brought them out as a PDF. All these other
we have,
magazines.
yeah.
So
see, every now and then
yeah.
we'll publish these as PDFs, limited edition, as well as like we did Hip Chicks or Easter Chicks as a free giveaway back in 2019 and things like that. So just keep your eyes and ears peeled. Every now and then Carl throws in a surprise from the Linderella days. And Barbara says, love the idea of the pocket for Christmas cards. Yes, that was kind of, I just threw it in. I thought, well, how can I make this a little bit different, a little bit more unique? Yes, that's my nephew. Keiku, we called him back then, but
he's not that size anymore.
He's not really that size anymore. That is my older brother's son, and his name is actually Ken, and he's off to college next year, if you can believe it. But that was when he was just a baby. So that is one of my nephews there. But yeah, the pocket, and I actually put it on there. I don't know if you can see. And what I did is I actually divided it in half too. I just stitched down the middle of the pocket here, so you have two pockets on either side for Christmas cards, because one pocket going all the way across, it was flapping forward, if that makes sense. So you can, like, divide it up any way you want to divide it, the pocket, or you could even put in a smaller pocket or no pocket at all, et cetera, et cetera.
And now did you hang it? You put a little pocket on
There's
the back?
a little like a dowel pocket on the
pocket
pocket.
on the back.
Yes.
Well, you can
so you can hang it out.
Whatever.
I see we have Robert checked in from Palm Springs there. Waves to
Waves
you.
back to Robert.
He does that all the time. Good morning. Hi, Robert. Should we check in with the Santa Cam?
Well, let's see if anybody's
on the
still
beautiful
out there.
Oasis Country Club here of the 15th hole.
The birds.
The birds. We have many ducks that have migrated in. That's what's going on out there. And
those are ravens or blackbirds.
Are those blackbirds?
Big,
yeah.
huge blackbirds.
Maybe they're finding something.
Yeah.
So there it is, the Santa Cam with its happy holidays. So we want to wish you all a very, very happy holiday. I'm going to also just give you a sneak peek. So remember those Island Boutique boxes that arrived a couple days ago? And I said, this is some super secret sewing with super secret fabrics going on. Well, okay, this is all I can show you. There you go. That is super secret sewing.
Oh, I missed it. I wasn't looking.
Wait,
show me again.
One more time.
Okay.
Yes.
2000.
That's all I can show you. That's all I can show you. The fabrics are going to be out. We designed a boutique line for Island Boutiques, and that boutique line will be out in April 2022, along with a new quilt that goes along with that boutique line. So that's all I can show you. Sorry. We're being very, very shifty and secretive.
Magazine.
What? Quilter's World, December 2005, says Nancy, was this. So if you have any old Quilter's World magazines out there, check out to see if you have December 2005 issue, and you may have that pattern in there. If not, it's available up on the website still. We're going to leave it up there as a limited edition PDF for you. And the link is actually right below me in the description of this video. So if you're watching us on a replay, just go to the link and you can actually get it. And it's a digital download. So you'll immediately get it in your email from our PDF provider, which is Send Owl. I always like to put that in there. Okay, we are going to bug out. We're going to wish everybody happy holidays. Carl's jumping in to say hi to Uncle Jen, Aunt Jen, sorry,
yes.
in England. So
I've got to go because I've got to throw the show out.
You look like the Statue of Liberty or something. I don't know what that is.
I don't
know. Was just okay. And we've got our bonkers here. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays to all of you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season and Happy New Year. We are going to be back with more Fab Fridays in the new year. Now, I can't promise what's going to happen in January right now because of Road to California. It's a big show for us, and we're getting ready for that. So just stay tuned. We will definitely be back in the new year. But until then, I want to wish you all a very happy holiday season. Happy Colourwerx quilting to you all, and have a wonderfully Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and everything else that goes with it. We love you guys so much for your support, and we hope that everything have a great holiday season. Drink lots of eggnog. How about that?
All right.
We'll see you in the new year, everybody.
Merry
Bye-bye.
Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We're not gone yet. There we go.